I got to ask, because a lot of times when people take part in some sort of a charity or a cause, you're able to see some change over time. But with this, there's probably a good chance that you won't even know if people received them. And I'm sure there's going to be people wondering, like, why do you even care? Why did you, what struck you to want to do this?
Yeah, I mean, I think to your first question, I think part of our calculations in the original, batch of flash drives that we sent over was, you got to expect some of those are going to be found by guards or by someone who's gonna immediately throw those away. But even if it's a guard, and the Human Rights Foundation had great insight as to this because they've done this before with more politically subversive material. But they said that even if a guard finds it, usually that's not somebody that's going to turn it in. That's usually someone that's going to pocket it and go check it out and go be exposed to it. And maybe they'll destroy it after the fact. But you've then exposed another person there to this new world that's outside of their own kind of constraints of what they're allowed to access, what they're allowed to be a part of. And maybe that's something that makes that person a little bit more sympathetic towards somebody that then is, caught for having contraband, movies or whatever it may be. I mean, when you think about it, the idea of contraband movies is such a ridiculous idea. And I think everyone that has a connection to the internet understands this now, is that information has to be able to flow. Otherwise, you end up with these pockets that are so oppressed.
In human history, contraband information, it has a huge backstory of books being banned, books being burned. So there are cultures that, listen, Ulysses by James Joyce was ruled inadmissible to. Well,
even if you look back at the founding of a country that never had it this bad, but you look at the United States, and it started with a very kind of conspiratorial newsletters and papers that were being circulated. Before even yellow journalism, but just the idea of, hey, maybe we shouldn't be, sending back so much money to the Brits. Like maybe we're not a British colony. Those were letters that were treason that were being traded by, early Americans. And a discussion should definitely be taking place, whether it's always right to make one action or another, who knows? But the information itself has to be free. And when you're talking about a shared culture that the rest of the world understands, North Koreans have been left behind for 70 years, almost 80 years. And this is something that, is I think important for people to be able to access. If nothing else, there's nothing that says they have to access this information, but it's something that we're trying to make available so that culture can be accessed by people in North Korea.
I think it's great. Just wonderful.
Very cool.
There is a video that shows we actually shot some footage of some of these rice bottles that were being loaded up. And I think the sound, you won't hear this on the audio recording, but you can see this on the, you'll hear it just in the background.
Where do you go to see the video?
score-movie.com/North Korea. And it'll also be a landing page on our main score-movie.com website. But it's a short little video that shows kind of some of the conditions of North Korea, some of the efforts here. We went in there, and Robert's kind of looking at this right now. Kenny, I apologize, you can't see it. But I think you may have seen this. I shared this with you before, so you might have seen it. This is, we started working with the Human Rights Foundation.
The video of them putting the bottles in the river is really cool.
It is worth going to score-movie.com, North Korea, to check this out, because this is an exceptional effort.
And you'll
Matt
see
Schrader.
Here you go, Robert. This is the this is cell phone footage of just across a little passageway there, a little river there, which is a top secret, undisclosed location. But you can see it's a whole team of people that brought out basically trash bags filled with these bottles that they started floating across. You can see close-ups of
where are they?
Them burying these.
Are they in South Korea?
I'm not allowed to disclose.
Thank you very much. This is New Jersey.
Yes,
and they floated all the way to North Korea.
There's a few spots where this type of thing happens, and we don't want to out anybody there for or add any.
I'm a journalist. I have to ask these questions.
I know.
There may be a movie in this story. Hey, Matt Schrader, this is great. I salute you for making this effort. I really do.
Well, you can go to score-movie.com. If you want to get a flash drive yourself, we have it on one side. It says Score with the Score logo with the baton. On the other side, it says Score in Korean on the flip side. And there's some pictures of that too, with a baton underneath.
And how much are these?
At $20, we're going to have one of these made. It's a 32 gigabyte, I believe. And we also, that takes care of the cost to be able to do another run, basically, of all of this stuff. So we can duplicate a lot of drives, be able to actually get them over physically across the ocean to people who will be able to do things like this. So it helps fund further top secret missions like this. And if you want to be a part, score-movie.com.
Very
so
cool.
Score the podcast, as we can now advertise to all our fans.
Doing good for the world.
Trying our best.
Maybe we can send them season 1 and 2 of Score the podcast next.
That's deep. That could be really.
Although our Korean's a little rusty.
Well,
I did go to the Olympics.
You're right.
I know
we
like
need to
5
subtitle
words.
everything right.
Well, thanks, Matt, for sharing that with the audience. And,
it's a cool thing. Not what you'd expect, again, from a documentary about
We're
music.
full of surprises, though, aren't we?
But it's cool. If we can share the culture, that's what the point of the whole movie was in the first place. And this is a whole new group of people who can be moved by music the same way that we have been.
Love that.
Very cool. Well, follow us at Score the Podcast. We'll put a link up to the website there. And this Friday, our season finale. Join
El
us.
Camino.
Dave Porter, composer of Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, The Blacklist, The Disaster Artist, and the big film El Camino. We'll see you Friday.
See you Friday.